Rick Miracle here with part 3 of 3, The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow by Constance Cumbey, on my series Freemasonry and Satanism. This has been rather enlightening, pun intended, information on the hidden dangers of the rainbow. And we know the rainbow is one of the symbols for the New Age, and it's also the symbol for the gay, drag queen, lesbian, transvestite, bisexuality, and free will adultery movement. All emanating from the satanic controlled United Nations with the meditation room, which is occultic, and you can look that up online. So with that said, why don't I just read the book? I'm going to do chapter 7 a little bit. Structure and front organizations. And here we go. The New Age movement is characterized by a large corps of participants who truly believe they are working for the good of the world and the good of themselves. So like I say, a lot of the lower people on these movements, Freemasons, they think they're doing something good. It's the higher up on the pyramid that's orchestrating the whole parade, the propaganda, the mind control of the world. While there are thousands of diverse organizations banded together to mutually promote the New Age through a system of networking of real power in the movement, presently appears to be in the hands of those behind the planetary initiative for the world we choose. So there's a planetary initiative called World We Choose. They went public in a big way on February 8th, 1982, holding their reception cocktail party in the Cathedral of St. John the Divine Episcopal New York City Church. Some of the most influential names in the world sponsored this party, as well as endorsed the concepts and organization of planetary initiative for the world we choose. The work of planetary initiative followed years of preparation by the network of world servers set up by Alice A. Bailey in 1925. The role of the world servers, also called servant of the world, was to act as a vanguard for the reappearance of the Christ. So, network of world servers set up by Alice A. Bailey. So let's pause and talk about Alice A. Bailey. If you've been watching my videos, you know I am a collector of old books. And I have one called The Reappearance of the Christ, by none other than Alice A. Bailey. What's interesting, this is a book I bought online in one of the bookstores, and there's all kinds of notes in here. I don't know if that's a cross somebody put in there in blood or what. But what's interesting is it says here that it was published by Lucas Trust. You can see it there. And as we have discussed before, if you go on Wikipedia and you look up Lucas Publishing Company, Lucas Trust, Lucas Press Ltd. in London, you will find out that Lucas Trust was formerly, its original name, Lucifer Trust, Lucifer Publishing Company. And I believe I need not have to explain to people who Lucifer is. Alright, so getting on with the book mentioned by Constance Cumbey in Beware of the Rainbow. So I'm just going to go quickly through this thing. In the cycle which Christ will inaugurate after his reappearance, the goal of all the religious teaching in the world will be the resurrection of the spirit in mankind. The emphasis will be upon the livingness of the Christ nature in every human being, and upon the use of the will in bringing about his living transformation of the lower nature. So we have to use the will to bring about this living transfiguration of the lower nature. So I suppose when, like in the Stephen Greer, the last video where he was doing the incantation in the desert with that group of people to call forth the ETs, contact ET, he was using the incantation, which is a will, you know, and apparently that is why there is so much vast mind control and New Age propaganda. It's using the will of mankind, the spiritual mental ability of people, I suppose, to bring Lucifer into our dimension. Just my perception of what I'm studying and reading. Alright, the proof of it will be the risen Christ. See, there you go. This way of resurrection is the radiant way, the lighted way, which leads from one great expression of divinity in man to another. It is the way which expresses the light of the intelligence, the radiant substance of true love, and the inflexible will which permits of no defeat or withdrawal. These are the characteristics which will be declarative of the kingdom of God. Now, I must remind everybody one more time, Lucifer Publishing Company, where it says Lucas there. On Wikipedia, that was Lucifer, and they changed the name, I suppose, to disguise the real intent. Anyways, moving on. He gave to the world for the use of the man in the street one of the oldest prayers ever known, but one which hereunto had not been permitted to be used except by the most exalted spiritual beings. He used it himself for the first time, we are told. At the time of the full moon on June 1945. So that was right about the end of World War II. And a full moon sounds kind of witchcrafty. Which is recognized as the full moon of the Christ. And remember, Christ, the word itself, means the anointed one. So when they say Jesus Christ, it's Jesus the anointed one. They're not putting Jesus in here, they're just calling it Christ. So they're saying not Jesus Christ, but Christ. So someone is going to be the anointed one. And it says here, Maitreya apparently is that one forthcoming into the world of earth when the people do the incantations and call forth the light into this dimension. Alright, which is recognized as the full moon of the Christ, just as the full moon of May is that of the Buddha. So you got a full moon in June is of the Christ, and the full moon of May is the Buddha. It was not easy to translate these ancient phrases, so ancient that they are without date or background of any kind, into modern worlds, but it has been done, and the great invocation, which may eventually become the world prayer, I guess we should pay attention to this, was pronounced by him and taken down by his disciples. It has been translated as follows. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. I hesitate to keep saying this, but Lucifer is the light bearer. Lucas Truss published this book. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. It doesn't say Jesus, it says Christ. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. I think we heard that in Benjamin Cream's Maitreya book. the little wills of men, the purpose which the Master knows and serve. So here again we have the Master. New Age stuff, spiritual communication with the Masters. If you talk to anybody who does it, that's what they tell you. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out. So it's not a conspiracy with all this New Age theory, Freemasonry into the occult, Albert Pike and the Rosicrucians and the Illuminati and the growing Satanists and Hollywood with all its horrific TV programming, end of the worlds, Hunger Game movies, Modern Family, 2.5 Men, which I like a couple of these shows, but I didn't know I was being mind controlled. Well, it's okay to watch them and like them, but realize what the attempt is from Hollywood is my point. I'm as human as anybody else, football games, cold beer, watching good TV, but little did I know that there was a mind control thing going on, taking me down a path that I didn't know they were taking me down. And I suspect a lot of other people. Alright, from the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Its extraordinary potency can be seen in the fact that hundreds of thousands of people are already using it day by day and many times a day. So call it an incantation to call forth Lucifer, I don't know. But they've got thousands of people doing this every day. It's like when you go to church and you pray and you get on your knees and all that. And they're doing it, says here, translated into 18 different languages, used by people in all those languages in the jungles of Africa. Groups of natives are using it. And it can be seen on the desk of great executives in our major cities. Well, most of our major CEOs we know are occultic and satanic. What is it even Gates is calling for population elimination reduction? Ted Turner, all these banksters, and they're taking the people to the cleaners and fleecing everybody of their wealth, their homes, their jobs. And let's see here, even major executives are saying this prayer. It goes forth over the radio in Europe and in America, and there is no country or island in the world where its use is unknown. All this has taken place in the space of 18 months. This book was published here 1960, the third printing, and the first printing was 1948. So I'm just going to try to jump through this. Here we go. Secondly, exoterists, aspirants, and spiritually minded people will have a deeper and more understanding approach. To them it will convey the recognition of the world of causes and of those who stand subjectively behind world affairs, the spiritual directors of our life. They stand ready to strengthen those with true vision, ready to indicate not only the reason for events in the various departments of human living, but also to make those revelations which will enable humanity to move forward out of darkness into light. With this fundamental attitude, the necessary for a widespread expression of these underlying facts will be apparent in an era of spiritual propaganda, engineered by disciples and carried forward by the exoterists, will mature. So they're saying right here, with this fundamental attitude, the necessity for a widespread expression of these underlying facts will be apparent in an era of spiritual propaganda engineered by disciples and carried forward by exoterists, people into occultic magic, will mature. This era began in 1875 when the fact of the existence of the Masters of Wisdom was proclaimed. 1875. I'm aware, and I'm sure a lot of people are, that the Psychic Society of Europe was started around 1840. This is 1875. And a few years later, the Psychic Society of America was started. And there's plenty of volumes of books, and we've looked at a few of them on my videos. And they were communicating with spirits on the other side. So this started around the 40s. And in 75, the existence of the masters of the wisdom was proclaimed. So apparently when they were communicating with these spirits on the other side, table rapping, seances, occultic communications, mediums, Ouija boards, all that stuff, they discovered the existence of the masters of the wisdom was proclaimed. So they are saying the spirits on the other side are driving this new age change in our world. Can that be good? Written by the Lucifer Publishing Company. It has been carried forward in spite of the miswritten representation, attack upon the concept, and scorn. Recognition of the substantial nature of the available evidence and the appearance of an intuitive response by occult students and many of the intellectia throughout the world has been helpful. A new type of mystic is coming to be recognized. He differs from the mystics of the past by his practical interest in current world affairs, not in religious and church matters only. He is distinguished by his lack of interest in his own personal development, by his ability to see God immanent in all faiths, not just in his own particular brand of religious belief, and also by his capacity to live his life in the light of the divine presence. All mystics have been able to do this to a greater or less degree, but the modern mystic differs from those in the past in that he is able to clearly indicate to others the techniques of the path. So again, like Stephen Greer of E.T. Contact, a serious video series, movies he made, and all the stuff he's involved with exopolitics. It seems to me the aliens are the same thing as these master spirits from the other side. He combines both head and heart and intelligence and feeling, plus an intuitive perception heretofore lacking. The clear light of the spiritual hierarchy now illumines the way of the modern mystic. And if you don't know who the Illuminati are, they are people who are into the religion of what's in this book. The illumination of people into the light, the spiritual realm. Communication, apparently, could be with demons. Lucifer. And not simply the light of his own soul, and this will be increasingly the case. So anyways, that's enough a little bit of that. Let's go back to Constance's book here. So we left off here where she said Alice Bailey started the network of world servers in 1925. The role of the world servers, also called servant of the world, was to act as the vanguard for the reappearance of the Christ. And Alice Bailey's book here, The Reappearance of the Christ, 1948. As with most operations aspiring for world domination, one would expect a police military arm somewhere in the picture. I think Hitler was into this, and he had his brown shirts, his military arm, and the SS, and all the other horrific world domination type police. Now in the United States, it seems like our CIA and FBI and NSA and TSA and all the people running our government apparently are aspiring to world domination, and they're spending the USA budget into the trillions of dollars, putting us so far in debt that we'll never come out, and they'll probably have to financially collapse the United States, and which means they will have to seize everybody's wealth to pay the bill, as we personally and our assets are security for the money that our government is borrowing in our name to fight for world domination, which of course we did not approve of. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. At least two have come to my personal attention to date. So this New Age has a police military arm, the Guardian Angels, and the 1st Earth Battalion. I think Obama is calling for a USA police military group And I believe he already has it pretty much well organized. But who knows about that? The guardian angels have rapidly expanded to over 40 American cities and several Canadian cities, and Curtis Silva has made public statements that he intends to go worldwide with 100,000 guardian angels. The 1st Earth Battalion, sponsored by the United States military and enjoying good reviews from the War College in Pennsylvania, openly claims through its leader, Jim Channon, to be a battalion of New Age samurai. Wow. Samurai. With our tax dollars. Even more startling is another parallel to Nazism, attempts to swell their ranks with prisoners, especially convicted felons. I've been paying attention to this, and they are into our prisons, and they certainly have more prisons per capita, per 1,000 people, than any other country in the world. So are they putting these people and incarcerating them and mind controlling them and teaching them and recruiting them? There are literally dozens of New Age prisoner recruiting efforts, ranging from in-prison mind control programs such as EST and Silva to encourage a transcendental meditation. Aha! So we got people that are in prisons and they're teaching them to communicate with the spirits or be possessed by demons also. Gotta love the New Age movement, don't you? The movement has enjoyed a well-organized and orchestrated propaganda drive since 1975. Various aspects of the drive have been conducted on a subtle level for many years, so they've been keeping it quiet. They don't want to make waves. And the occult motives of the movement have been kept largely hidden from the public view during that time. Since 1975, however, the New Agers have been open about their aims for a cleansing action against the negative elements of religion and other opposition to the world domination goals of the movement. So if you're a Christian or other good person and doesn't subscribe to all this Luciferian New World Age concept, you are a negative element. Again, what is up is now down, and what is down is now up. What is good is now evil. What is evil is now good, is the end times saying. So anybody who's into decency and morality and not robbing and killing and justice, well, you're negative. So they say. This propaganda effort has utilized sophisticated, cleverly veiled rationales for their persecution of Christians, Jews in the near future. So they're mind controlling all the people now to not like Christians and Jews. And it says New Agers now widely believe that Christianity is bad because, you're going to love this, it promotes cruelty to little animals. Well, I'm a Christian and I love little animals. But you can't convince the people that are all out there mind controlled. They'll believe anything they're told to believe. It starts out with cartoons while they're probably little kids. Some of the other items to be covered in the propaganda drive to prepare the world for the so-called new Christ includes teachings on evolution of consciousness, the interrelatedness of the individual soul to all souls, the kingdom of God as simply the appearance of the soul-controlled man on earth in everyday life. We are all divine. That's what they tell people. The idea that there are some on earth who have reached relative perfection. Some of us are, however, more than divine than others. The belief that there are individuals who have reached total perfection or Christ consciousness. One of us is perfect, it should be king. Some people think the son over there that just got married, Kate, the queen's son, that he might be the new Antichrist or the new king of the world. Because apparently England still owns the United States. If we haven't discussed that in some of my videos, but Apparently in the background there was a treaty signed when they had the Declaration of Independence, and they still recognize the King and Queen of England as the ownership of their colonies in the United States. And in 1930, apparently after the Depression and all that, or during it, the U.S. went into foreclosure and switched from a constitutional government to a corporate government. Who are the stockholders? Anyways, just thought I'd roll that in there. A recognition that there has always been a plan. The plan, and that plan has been present, but unrecognized throughout history. Mind control, this is the propaganda they're doing. Mind control, holistic health, color therapy, and music therapy, and iridiology. While New Agers know their movement is worldwide and powerful, too many Christians are still sound asleep, thinking that nothing prophetic is happening, while their children, and sometimes even themselves, are lured by the deceptively smooth flatteries of this movement. And then we got back here. Therefore, I am somewhat less than attentive when I found a book in the local new bookstore entitled The Reappearance of Christ by Benjamin Creme. So apparently Benjamin Creme wrote another book, The Reappearance of Christ. And this one is the Alice Bailey one. So I wanted to read a little bit more from her book. I highlighted some things here. Page 62. It says here, the uniqueness of the impending mission of the Christ and the uniqueness of his opportunity consists in the fact that he is able, in himself, to give expression to two divine energies, the energies of love and the energy of will. The magnetic potency of love and the dynamic effectiveness of the divine will. Never before in the long history of humanity has such a revelation been possible. The work and the teachings of the Christ will be hard for the Christian world to accept. Alice Bailey book. Back in 1945, and ever since then, they've been trying to take Christianity out of the schools and everywhere else. This has been going on for what, 45, 55, 65, 70 years they're working towards this. And I don't believe they're about to give up now. So it's coming. And like I said in that other book, if you don't follow in line or join their group, they're going to put you in another dimension where you'll be happy. Alright, the work and the teaching of the Christ will be hard for the Christians world to accept, though easier of assimilation in the East. So the East would be China, India, all the Orient, but in the West, it's going to be more difficult. Nevertheless, some hard blow or some difficult presentation of the truth is badly needed if the Christian world is to be awakened and if the Christian people are to recognize their place within a worldwide divine revelation and see Christ as representing all the faiths and taking his rightful place as world teacher. A book published by Lucifer Trust. So who do you believe? What do you believe? What do I believe? What does anybody believe? It gets confusing. Here we go, page 90. The reactionary forces of the world, political and religious, desired the resurrection of the old and dead forms. So the reactionary forces of the world want a resurrection of the old and dead forms. They threw their weight and their influence, which is only another name for energy, against all that was new. This they are still doing. The progressive forces fight only for that which is new. So we all heard about progressives. And seek not the preservation of any of the old forms, even if they could serve a useful purpose. Here we go here. The new group of world servers holds steadily to the noble middle way, as the Buddha called it, and seeks the decent burial of old forms and the implementation of that which is new and the restoration of that which has in the past proved useful and good and which could form the living germ of the new creation. At the time of the full moon in April 1945, during the Easter season of the year and covering approximately a period of 5 weeks, the forces of restoration began their work, emerging first upon the subtle planes of human existence. This type of energy is particularly creative in nature and carries the life which produces the birth of forms. It poured into the hierarchy via certain of the masters and their groups of disciples, and was immediately transmitted to them, to humanity, by them, to humanity as a whole. So again, as we already have discussed, my purpose for this little reading here is because a lot of people, when I talk to them, put the book down over here, they tell me they don't believe in any of this. There is no conspiracy. It's in my imagination. That's what they say. So I came across a couple other books I had. The Coming of the Cosmic Christ by Matthew Fox. I'm just going to read a little bit here. From page 44. The mysteries lie deep in every person. The rise of pseudo-mysticism. To deny it is to invite the emergence of pseudo-mysticism or esoteric mysticisms that catch our personal and collective imaginations. Jesus warned his followers about false prophets who would come as wolves in sheep's clothing. Well, that sounds like what we've been reading. So too, it is necessary today to be mindful of false mystics and false movements that come disguised by mystical trappings. The test for authentic mysticism is justice-making and compassion, as Jesus taught. I believe that some books I can read and some books tie my tongue up. Contemplative civilization, in addition to denying the mystic, is also swamped in the pseudo-mysticism. So what I wanted to do is, there's just one little paragraph here on New Ageism. I just thought I would read that. Certain New Age practices are also pseudo-mysticisms in interpreting so-called past life experiences in an excessively literal way without considering the possible metaphorical meanings. Is an example. Invariably, I have found that persons dealing with past lives are working it out, often in a very commendable and creative way, the deep suffering and pain from their personal life. This connection is lost when the preoccupation with the past life loses its metaphorical base. The result is a severe underestimation of one's present responsibilities and opportunities. So you shouldn't be obsessed with your past life and all that when you have present responsibilities, your family, your job, and everything else, and yourself, and opportunities. Excessive preoccupation with states of consciousness that elicit levitations, for example, are a pseudo-mysticism. Again, the power of the mystic to relate to healing society is a key ingredient to testing the spirits. By their fruits, you will know them, advised Jesus. There's more books. So I thought now I would do my little favorite part of my videos is a New Age site. There was pictures, so I saved a few. So you just go New Age images on Yahoo Images and you get some interesting pictures. This is New Age stuff on a New Age site. Isn't that cute? The secret, UFOs, can't really see them. Man coming from monkey or ape. The planet evolving. Here's one. Unity, Kundalini, channeling, New Thought, Shambhala, The Shift, astrology, Gala, yoga, ascended masters, goddess, higher self, Maitreya, Len, visualization, prayer, all New Age stuff. And they portray the world as some kind of new, modern, interdimensional kind of world that's coming. The New Age is cool. Look at that picture. And the Buddha and rocks and people meditating. New Age. And like I said before, that medal that Obama gave Oprah and Clinton with the star and the circle, the Freedom Medal, is New Age. It's satanic. There's the eye, the star, the circles. So you can tie all this stuff together. I had to take a pause there. The little sprinkles of rain here. Anyways, I'll get back to the photos in a minute. But I was digging around some of my books and I found this book. The Philosophy of Natural Magic by Henry Cornelius Agrippa. And I've seen this book quoted many times, and he's a well-known mystic, psychic. So I thought I'd read a little bit on this one page. And we saw the movie stars like Kate Perry with the symbol on her clothes. Anyways, the section here on page 288. A message to all mystics. The Hindu Magic Mirror by Dr. Lawrence, copyright 1910 by D. Lawrence, Scott and Company, Publishing Department. A sincere and true message to all faithful brother mystics, people that are into spiritual communications and magic mystics, and those who may wish to join this occult organization which exists here and in the astral or unseen world. So in the ether, other dimensions, the place where I believe the so-called aliens are coming from. Given under and by the direction of the great occult organization and brotherhood of magic, for the never-ending advancement of human souls through Dr. Lawrence, whose supreme desire is to educate capable and sincere brothers and sisters to act in concert with our brotherhood of unseen mystics and teach them the work that they must do preparatory thereof. I, Dr. Lawrence, do hereby state, truly and positively, that I know that the existence of a powerful occult organization and brotherhood of mystics, both here and in the great unseen world, to be an incontestable truth. And furthermore, that I know that the science and art of magic, as operated by these mystics, is worthy of faithful investigation. I started out my whole book reading goal and searching for the truth with psychic research, using the pendulum and divining rods to find water and stuff like that, because I was an electronic engineering technician at a major aerospace company for 10 years, and I was into science and physics and anti-gravity and all that. So I started collecting old books to go back in time and seek out the truth, and the things I found. I don't know when I bought this book, maybe 10 years ago. Furthermore, be it known to all the world, and especially so unto him or her into whose hands this message may come, not by reason of their own solicitation or by advertisement, but by their own astral influence and the occult magnetism. So my seeking into this stuff was the magnetism that brought me this book. Is that what he is saying? there that the hereafter simple message to brother mystics and those who desire to rid themselves of the bonds and shackles of gross ignorance, theology, superstition, materialism regarding the famous magic mirror, that wonderful astral instrument so long used by leading mystic adepts and occult workers for communication and preparatory development for communication between the two worlds, will help all who heed. So between this world and the spiritual world, apparently they have something called a magic mirror. This message hereunto written I have given verbatim as it has come to me under the direction of the great brotherhood of mystics from the unseen astral world. And again, if you read Albert Pike's book and a lot of the occult stuff in Freemasonry, hence my series, Freemasonry and Satanism, you will find all this similar type of conversation. And in the witchcraft books and satanic books. So what are they doing? Who are they communicating with? And how will it bode for us average citizens who are not even aware of any of this craziness? Real or not? Seems like the world is turning in the direction that they are driving. Every soul will rest at some milepost in life. Those never-ending, unnumbered, unknown points, all void, vacant, and dark. Yet be still, for as it looks once more, a multitude unassembled, unnumberable, astral souls revere a force supreme. Unnumberable astral souls reveal a force supreme. So that would be the angels or demons, or I think, what was that I read once where they were communicating with the spirits on the other side, and the spirit said, "We are legion." You know what a legion is? It's like a gigantic army. So he says here, unnumberable astral souls reveal a force supreme. So apparently there's more of these astral entity spiritual beings on the other side than probably there are people on Earth, which is almost, or about 7 billion. Invincible for human advancement, the annulment of man-made law. So they're trying to get rid of the way the Constitution and the Church and all those laws, and they want to bring us this new Maitreya and his law, which could be, seems to be, the prophesized Antichrist. The concert, uplifting, and education of humanity. Listen, O ye capable brothers, for out of darkness comes the mystic message. I'll just read a little more, go back to my pictures. To those mystics still in earth life, the astral brotherhood of magic, an occult organization, sends goodwill, light, and greeting. They always mention light. Lucifer was the light bearer. When he gave the apple to Eve, he opened her eyes to the knowledge of reality. And apparently her and Adam were naked, and after she got that knowledge, they went and grabbed some leaves and covered up. Crazy? Until you, brother and sister, know thyself and the possibilities of thyself, by and through the understanding of self, and are able to kindle the astral fire within, there is labor for us to perform in assisting you in your preparatory work thereto. The shackles and chains of centuries of cycles of ages of antiquity are riven at length by their own corroding and heart-eating rust, materialism. So, you know, they're saying materialism is evil, and communism is anti-materialism. They don't want you to have property, and everybody lives in a commune, and basically you're a slave. And according to this material, you should embrace your slavery, I suppose. And now they have cameras monitoring everybody, your cell phone and satellites and computers, and even watching you through your TV, they say, and cable box. So, you know, you have to take the whole thing in context. Anyways, I'll finish this page and get back to the pictures. Let ye, O brother and sister, listen more attentively, for no shackle or bond that comes of theology, that's regular churches, darkness or superstition or gross ignorance, theology, regular churches, they're comparing with darkness, superstition, and gross ignorance. Got it? Get it? It says here, no shackle or bond that comes of theology, that would be the regular churches, of all religions, Muslims, whatever, or darkness, or superstition, or gross ignorance can ever endure the full light of inner truth, nor the full dawn of the day. To carry this work onward to its and your own full success, we must have truth. Faithful, sincere, and capable brothers on the earth plane who have common sense that is not common, and who will act in full concert with us for the uplifting and occult education of humanity. And again, I'm reminded of Stephen Greer, of exopolitics, the Sirius star system, ET, UFO, alien communication in the desert he was having today, by the way. And does he know about all this? Does Stephen Greer know about all this? When he was before Congress with all those witnesses about the UFO sightings and everything else, does he know about this? No city code or man-made law can overthrow, annul, or set aside the laws of God. Self, nature. So they're saying the laws of God are the self and nature, which is the New Age teaching. Magic is nature. The progressive mystic who has received his or her occult education will always act unselfishly, for they have by their education become nature's God. So they're calling nature around me that you see, this is God. That tree behind me is God. Not trying to be funny. That says it right here, to become nature's, God's own legitimate and true instrument of human advancement. They have steadfastly met and overthrown error, superstition, theology, ignorance, and arrogance in high and so-called holy places, and have thus denied the so-called divine right of kings, ministers, and priests, and those who would scoff at spiritualism. They have without hesitation uprooted and overthrown the rule of despot and tyrant, have led true brothers and sisters with the potent weapon of mental thought and astral force to triumph over superstition and ignorance, and will finally, by the means of ending the reign of the beast, of materialism and selfishism, who can exist only for a time and time a half. Before the truths of our brotherhood and occult organizations, the bonds and shackles of fettered humanity are destined to melt as snow beneath the sun of Aries. So I thought I would just throw a little bit of this in there for you. Let me get back to my pictures. This New Age is the same thing as the New World Order. It's run by occultists, Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, Illuminati, Hollywood, Zionism, all one and the same if you read the books. And I've read a lot of the books, and I'm just reading a copy of the same thing in all the different groups. Remember, I got these pictures off of New Age keywords and images on the internet. Go to Yahoo and search and just type in New Age images. New Age rainbow, New Age, whatever, you'll find all these different sites. So on the New Age site, I found this one. And again, the star with the circle reminds me of the medal that Obama gave Oprah and Clinton. They called it the Freedom Medal. And you can go on witchcraft websites and find that same medal symbol. This is on the New Age website. The circle, the eye. And if you go on the Illuminati, you know, people put these pictures on the different sites, and they reference the website they came from on the bottom of the picture. I'll give you the internet address. New Age. Look at that on the dollar bill, the all-seeing eye of Horus. Here's one that's interesting, the New Age movement. New Age or old occult. He's doing the 6 signs with his hands, you know, where they do this. I guess it's the 6 sign. Looks like a 6. So that would be the devil sign, and the snake on his shirt, and the apple. Some of this is a little bit much. There's the pyramid. This one's got the pyramid pointing up. And a lot of people are into the yoga and the greatest new, a lot of New Age symbols, pictures. No Masti. I honor the place. We are one. There's the rainbow colors, and we are one on the bottom. That's the philosophy of the New Age teaching. We are all one. The female New Age picture. It says New Age movement on the bottom there. I found this was on the New Age site. The pyramid, the blazing rays, which represent the sun god, by the way, and the eye, of course, on the pyramid. So the sun god is Osiris, or Ra, in Egypt on the hieroglyphics. Some more New Age symbols. The Ankh. Egyptian, pagan, the light bearer, the ascending spirits, Deadeye Dick, New Age girl. This is on the New Age site. I just selected some pictures. It's a lot of propaganda. Then you got a man and a woman with the stars in the earth. New Age propaganda. So many people falling for this stuff. The New Age journey. But the people who are controlling the world, who are paying for all this and all this movement, if you look at the Illuminati material and the Freemasonry, Albert Pike's book and all that stuff, these are the same people who are causing all the economic destruction in the world, like Alan Greenspan said to Congress. He said, we're running a program called Creative Economic Destruction. And the congressman says, well, won't people get hurt? And Alan Greenspan says, yeah, people will get hurt. So Alan Greenspan, is he really working for Israel? Is he a dual citizen? Or is he part of the Federal Reserve? Isn't owned by the U.S. government. It's owned by the Illuminati, Rothschilds, and stockholders of the Bank of England, which are the ones who sponsored with the Balfour Agreement, the State of Israel with the Balfour Agreement in 1914-15, during World War I. You start connecting the dots with the, as they say about the Freemasons, what they say and what they do are two different things. And I know that in the Henry Ford said with all the people in New York during the times of all the exodus from Russia, World War I period, they were coming over here by the hundreds of thousands. Big camps set up overseas, and they were bringing over all the Russian, Yiddish, Jewish folks to the United States. And even if they robbed somebody or they did something bad, they would protect each other and get off on charges. And just like the Freemasonries, then they take the dagger to the heart and a blindfold and a rope around their neck. They swear to defend each other. So apparently if you go before a judge and he's a Mason, and you're a Mason, and you give the signal, whatever it is, you get out of jail free card, whereas the average person wouldn't. So it's just, I just can't see that this New Age is really sincere if they treat people and act that way. And we all know that there's massive amounts of people in the Middle East, Arabs dying every day right now. Being bombed today, probably. The Minerva era, the New Age, the pyramids, the spiritual being above the girl. They paint a really beautiful picture on all this, but is it beguilement? Remember, I don't know if you saw the original version of the Pinocchio cartoon, the movie, when the two animals on the street, on the road, going to somewhere, met him and talked him into going to that paradise island. It was all beguilement and carnival rides and cotton candy. And then in the back of the island, they were shuttling everybody onto slave ships. So I'm just wondering, is this beguilement? Celebrate the new age of Earth. Is this beguilement? With Stephen Greer doing the chants to call forth the contact with the ETs? You got the moon, the star, the duality, the little cross in the circle. This reminds me of the Syrians. Is this Ashtar, the Palladians, or the Syrians? Look at the pyramid in his hand. And the six-sided star. It all connects. The New Age baby book. I think I'll name my kid 7. Well, no, I guess they're going to name their kid 6. There's 2 6s. 6 6. And the triangle. Now that's got to be pretty Luciferic. Evil. Ooh, I like this part. They're going to come down on the Christians. Look at that. The power of the spiritual masters. You don't conform to the New Age. And get into your yoga. Communicate to the masters. I don't make this stuff up. I just went on the New Age image site. You can do that too. Little 6 action there. New Age, isn't it so pretty? You got the New Age of Aquarius, the water bearer. New Age world press, lots of money. Documents, books, pictures, events. Looks like they've involved Stonehenge into it. That was on the New Age site. And that looks kind of evil to me. They started the hippie movement, everybody knows that. Vietnam War, drugs, open up the minds of people. Don't care about the world, don't get involved in politics, peace. In the meanwhile, millions and millions of people are dying, being bombed, robbed, killed, losing their homes, losing their jobs. And they're telling the people, don't worry about it. Don't let anybody tell you anything negative. Think positive. While your world is getting closer to the New Age. With satanic symbols. They make it look nice in this picture. But go on a witchcraft or a Satan site and see what they do with that same picture. Mayan temples at the New Age site. Taoism versus New Age. Yeah, the cross thing they have. You see in a lot of symbols. The Reiki powder, power of your hands, the healers. You are a god, they're telling you. And I'm not anti-modern, or I can divine and find water. But you know, knowing how to do those things and choosing to do good, and knowing how to do those things and choosing to do evil, like the powerful Zionism and Illuminati and Freemasonic people who wind up in all the big gravy jobs and CEOs and wealthier. One guy can be wealthier than 1 million people combined. He have that much money. So what you have that power and that knowledge, and what you do with it, to me, is the problem. Here's another picture, New Age. So the propaganda that people are being fed, and who do not believe that this is a reality, that there is a New Age, and that it involves the Kundalini and the 5 shakas in communication with the spiritual world. Who are you talking to in the spiritual world? Good folks or bad folks? Good demons or bad demons? Good angels or bad angels? Who? Do you know? Does it matter? I think so. Here they picture it as a futuristic world. The New Age movement. Ouija board. Tarot cards. That's what it says there. Some of these pictures didn't come out really good off the image site lately. Here's a New Age picture. That was on the New Age image Yahoo search site. So who wouldn't want to fall in love with that picture? I would say that's the world I want. With all the hate and destructiveness going on in the world, of course, yeah, we want that. But the people who are promoting this are the ones who are bringing us the chaos and the hate and the pollution and the sky spraying and the HARP systems. It's these people who are promoting this. There's not 2 separate groups. The Illuminati symbols are all over this stuff. Look, all-seeing eye, dollar bill, pyramid, New Age. Don't think so? Picture says 1,000 words. Doesn't it? It says New Age style. Looks satanic to me. And I'm not a prude. I like pretty girls, but I think turning the whole public forum, your city parks and streets and everywhere, into this has taken the pretty female or whatever just a tad bit out there. It says New Age style. Dance. Reminded of Janet Jackson and her show where they pulled off one of her breasts. It's all occultic. Cochina Wurst, who won the Eurovision. Face like Jesus, body like a beautiful woman. All occultic. There's a picture of, is this a master or is this Jesus? And the geometry and the colors they use. This is on the New Age site. I just took a sampling of the pictures. Here's one that's pretty clear. Spaceships, satanic symbol eye, the devil's head, Ouija board, the horns like on Miley Cyrus. I guess they got Jesus into yoga. Face on the planet or the moon. see, yoga, tarot cards, all-seeing eye, pyramids, snakes. Is there any mistake in this? The Kundalini. Apparently, if you comes from your base chakra, and during sexual experiences, you can go on to a spiritual, high power, I guess, effect like you're on drugs and LSD and see the spiritual world. Maybe something like that. Here they got Shiva, the Hindu, and Jesus flying, holding hands through the sky. I don't know if they're holding hands. So they're trying to make everything into one. New Age, atmospheres, meditation, ethnic fusion, tribal, spiritual, neoclassical. And it's all one tree of life. We are all one. Revolution to New Age. So they're trying to cause a revolution. They're going to have all the New Agers, anti-Christianity. Will they cause a revolution? And have those New Agers run through the streets and killing Christians to bring about their new world. How angry will this person be at a Christian? How mind-controlled are people? Alright, we're closing in on this video. Thought I'd just do a little more from where we started. Page 95. Just some highlighted paragraphs here. In a recent radio interview, Benjamin Creme stated to a listening audience of 28 states and 11 foreign countries that Lucifer came from the planet Venus 18.5 million years ago. And again, I'm just jumping around, you know how I do it. You can get the book, use book sites or bookstores. Jesus was only a 4th level initiate, whereas Buddha was a 6th level initiate. So they're putting Jesus 2 notches below Buddha. However, Lord Maitreya, it's probably according to Creme, himself was a 7th level initiate, and the only one eligible for such a high level of initiation. Wow. People were present who were extremely active in the fight against the moral majority. See, it isn't me. I mean, I'm reading from the book here. People were present who were extremely active in the fight against the moral majority. So as Aleister Crowley, so-called the wickedest man alive, who bragged about killing children, eating them, I suspect, and religious sacrifices to Satan, says, do anything you want. They're totally against moral majority. People in the world have a choice, in my opinion, between moral majority and anti-moral majority. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a moral majority world. You know, children being able to play safely in the park, me being able to walk around the streets without being mugged or robbed. Just my opinion. Anyways, trying to finish this off here. One of the best kept secrets of the 20th century is the occultic roots and nature of the religious philosophy at the heart of the Third Reich. That's Hitler's Nazism. It is public knowledge that both Winston Churchill and Franklin Delano Roosevelt dabbled in the occult. You think? Who doesn't know that most of the presidents were Masonic, with the lodges, who study into the occult, the secret mysteries? They say so. And when you join, you have to raise your hand, blindfold on you, a noose around your neck where the guy leads you in. a dagger on your puncture to your chest, and swear that you will keep everything secret. And if you don't, cut your throat, cut your guts, and throw you on a beach to just rot in the surf. That's what they say. Perhaps the same conspiring Luciferic spirit that induced Hitler to implement the darkest practices of occultism moved upon the Western powers to conceal the esoteric mysticism behind Nazism. While Hitler, page 100, was in Vienna pursuing a career as an architect and artist, he spent his spare time in occult bookstores and libraries, acquainting himself with the mysteries of the metaphysical lore and gaining the acquaintance of adepts in both white and black magic. Remember, Aleister Crowley was into the magic, and apparently, obviously, the black magic. The evilest man alive, and this is the philosophy that the New Age and the New World Order and Freemasonic philosophies and mystic teachings and Zionism and Illuminati and Rosicrucian. This is what you're dealing with. Transcendental states of consciousness. That's the meditation and yoga everybody's into. And mind expansion fascinated him, and he devoted every spare cent and minute to the pursuit of higher consciousness. A lot of people do that these days. Yoga, astrology, Eastern, Western paths to this goal proved too slow for his ambitions, and like many impetuous New Agers of today, he decided to accelerate the process by supplementing meditation with drugs. Again, that's why they caused the hippie movement. And over in Europe, they called it festivals. England, they were doing the same thing over there. And the LSD and all the drugs. This was an introduction to the world into this spiritual, delusional, occultic world where they could interact with demonic, angelic beings, I suspect. If you look up anything on Peru and Hauska, however you say that, the drug they get down there from one of the vines, you will see that when the shamans do that, like say a little girl gets sick and the shaman needs to find a remedy to heal the little girl, he'll take the Hauska, however you say it, vine drug, like peyote for the American Indians, and go into a trance and go into the spiritual world and get the solution to cure the girl and come back and solve the problem. And even large pharmaceutical companies from the USA and the universities sent people down there to learn this stuff, i.e. spies. And a few people finally discovered they were learning the recipes that these shamans had gotten from the spiritual world, and they were coming back up here to the United States and they were patenting them for the pharmaceutical companies. So the pharmaceutical companies, run by the Illuminati and the wealthy elites of the world, were stealing the secret plants and herbs and stuff to help certain illnesses, and then patenting them here in the United States for the wealth of the pharmaceutical companies, and the poor shamans and the spirits down there in Peru got nothing. Mescaline was used to transport him to the highest state of consciousness, this was Hitler, where he could look into what the New Agers and occultists called the Akashic Records, a demonic version of historical and future events. Hitler's aim in taking this accelerated path was to gain a perspective for his future destiny. Successful in contacting the top, Hitler rightly believed he had established communication with Lucifer, for whom he openly coveted possession. We read from the Secret Doctrine, and it says here, the Secret Doctrine also glorifies the pre-flood world, a world that, according to the Bible and Secret Doctrine, was alive with demonic contact and psycho-spiritual power. Well, I believe you've got the gist of this. There's more in here, like it says right here. The Nazi strain by the esoteric Vril Society, Thal Society of Seekers of the Grail, seminaries of the Ordenbergen, that it perpetuates itself by means of a concentration of occult power located in its initiatory centers, whose knowledge and symbols are inaccessible to the masses as to the enemy. New Agers commonly believe that by undergoing various spiritual disciplines such as yoga, meditation, and mind control classes, they can become co-conspirators of the co-creators of the universe. So with that said, let me just have a little more fun here with a couple pictures and tell you some things that are kind of cool. Here's one. See the crown? Keep calm and prepare for UFO disclosure. Is it UFO disclosure, or is it, as we said here, interdimensional demons coming into this dimension with satanic rituals and chants, opening portals? And we did that one video on the night of the East and West from the Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma book. I thought I'd print this out and show you this picture. Notice the symbols look familiar with a lot of the stuff. The sun's rays, the pyramid, all the stuff that's in the New Age movement. Charles Hall, look that up. Look the video. The tall whites. It's a rendered drawing of what the aliens he was. And this Anunnaki and Hidden Technology. These videos are on YouTube. I've literally watched hundreds of these, diversifying my knowledge. And now we have ISIS attacking in the Middle East out of nowhere. And on the internet is intelligence technology training. Apparently in the United States we have a secret service or private company called ISIS that even provides services to the president of Iraq. Who knows what they do worldwide? But ISIS is attacking, and we got a paramilitary U.S. guerrilla force called ISIS. So are these the people that are over there? Just saying. And another thing that I thought was interesting, if you go on reptilian images, and I'm beginning to have concern about this. It just seems the more I dig, as we have just seen in this material, there could be some truth to this. But apparently, and I've discovered this, that all the people that are popular, famous, apparently are into this occult, Illuminati, satanic world. And if they weren't, they probably wouldn't be where they are. And apparently a lot of people are catching images on the TV and other things from photographs, and they are seeing these people morph from a snake-like person to a human. Pardon me. One of my neighbors pulled up and was talking to me. Anyways, I've been poking around with the different aliens, reptilians, Palladians, Syrians, Greys, investigating, reading, watching videos, trying to develop my own opinion. And I'm beginning to believe there could be some truth to this thing with the reptilians. That they have, like we were in some of the books, like Whitley Strieber, he said that the contacts, ETs, saw, had things on their belts that allowed them to create a holographic image that made them look like something else. In this world of technology today, you know, it's believable. Anyways, with that said, if you go on reptilians and images, you will find all these pictures. And all these people who are supposedly powerful, well-up people. And people catch some of their teeth or gills on their neck or reptilian features popping out. And the more I investigate people who are well-known, famous, the movie stars, Miley, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Katy Perry, all these people the Cochina Wurst over there winning the Eurovision American Idol type contest. They're into the satanic cult, and I swear some kind of allegiance to the devil or whatever. This alien entities or whatever, spiritual demons. And it just seems to me, are our leaders, has the United States, has the world been taken over by these things? Has it gone that far? Just me with my crazy questions. For example, another thing, Van Daniken, down in Ecuador, they have huge caverns, man-made they say, with storage rooms in the high Andes that go all the way down to the ocean, with corridors and roads inside. Anyways, in one of those places down there, he found this stone, which, as you can see, looks like the pyramid on the dollar, and there is the eye on the top, and then there's the star system on the bottom. That star system is the Pleiades. And the 13th step's the same as on the pyramid on the dollar. And you can clearly see the eye, the 13 steps. But what really got me was, you know, even the star system Pleiades is recognizable on the bottom of it. And they put it under a black light and it glows. So did they plant this, or is this real? And Van Daniken was a credible man. And so it just keeps on bringing us to this question. Are all the people running our world, the generals, most of them, I wouldn't say all, but are they reptilian creatures? Are they some kind of hybrid? Do they transform to the reptilian back into human-looking creatures? Has our reality and our world been taken over? You know, we read this stuff, and we see all the stuff on TV, and we see Cochina Wurst in that concert. Oh, we see Miley Cyrus doing that, or Madonna, or Lady Gaga doing the satanic rituals. Over and over and over. And the NFL football has the big all-seeing eye in the background. American Idol had the big all-seeing eye in the background. I'm sitting there watching American Idol and the people singing, and I'm looking at the eye going, oh my God, does anybody else see that but me? NFL football, they keep bringing that big eye up. So the world is not what we think it is, and that is my introduction. It took me 3 videos to do it. The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow. Constance Cumbey, get her book. I didn't read all of it, of course. And wake up, be aware of the mind control. Go watch your kids' cartoons when they're sitting there watching cartoons. You'll be a little shocked when you see what's actually being said, the words. So, what's right and what's wrong? What is good, what is evil? What should we believe? What should we be wary of? What is coming next? We know with how they think about Christians and good Jews and Muslims and anybody who believes in morality and decency is now going to be the enemy of the world. Our people are going to probably take the little microchip or mark of the beast. And as long as you swear allegiance to the new religion and Luciferium, you'll be in. But if you don't, you'll be an outcast. They'll be coming after you. So it seems. Let's just hope it's all not true. Thank you for watching my video.